Hello and welcome everyone to all the viewers and listeners. You are watching Esports and Information. My name is Harsh. Let's react to the headlines. Let's see what we have today. Uh, if you're living in Gujarat, you might have been surprised by the rain making a footfall. So yes, rain is reaching all and every part of Bharat, and very soon it might come closer to your place as well. So be prepared for rains. Be prepared for rains this week. And goodbye summers, I would say. All right, let's see what do we have today. hmm We'll start off with BSP. For those of you who don't know, BSP is a political party, that is Bahujan Samaj Party. It was established long ago, and one of its prominent leaders are Mayawati. Mayawati is by the way she handles her affairs, by the way she speaks, and now she has declared that her nephew Akash Anand as her political successor, and also gives him the responsibility of national coordinator of the party. Okay, so it's not just that Bollywood is tainted with the vice of nepotism. It's also politics as well. And if you come to see of it, every profession has some degree of nepotism inherently attached in it, because nobody would want to relinquish a place of power and give it to a person who is completely unknown. They'd rather keep it in the family. So yes, that is what Mayawati, the Bahujan Samaj Party, that is what she has done. Okay. Earlier in May, Mayawati announced that the decision to remove Anand from the post of national coordinator and her successor till he attained political maturity. So now, according to her, Mr. Anand is supposed to have attained political maturity, and now he is ready to take up the post of national coordinator. So I would say, yeah, it's not just Bollywood. Almost all realms of professions, they have some degree of inherent nepotism in them, because like I said, nobody would want to relinquish their position of power to an outsider. They would rather keep it in the family. Next up is a terrorist has been killed in the ongoing anti-infiltration operation in Uri sector along LOC in North Kashmir's Baramulla district. This keeps on going on. This should not be new, because you know these people, they won't understand until and unless you kill them. There have been many attempts in the past. They are still ongoing, and it'll keep on going on in the future unless and until we take a concrete step. But it says here, it says it is along LOC, so we don't know the exact location, whether that person was on the Pakistani side of LOC or on our side. So obviously he was trying to infiltrate. So I'm assuming that he was, caught, apprehended, and shot on our side of LOC. But such instances should, this should not be a concern. Lock down your borders in such a way that you don't have to worry about people infiltrating it. I understand that there are some geographical barriers. It isn't exactly a flat land to establish as sealed and as concrete of a border that Egypt has with Gaza. But you know we need some sort of concrete measures to seal our borders on this front, on the northwestern front, I would say, because this keeps on going on, and we have to deal with this on a regular basis. A lot of man material and a lot of things are used in these operations, and sometimes it's also one of the soldiers that get martyred. And yeah, so just seal it, uh, and put down a sign. I would say trespassers will be shot at sight. I mean, that is what they're doing. So The External Affairs Minister, Dr. Jaishankar, will pay an official visit to UAE, the United Arab Emirates, the West Asian country. Uh, they are somewhat reaching out to us. They are more of accommodative towards the pagan culture. We have seen that a recent BAPS Mandir temple has also come up in Abu Dhabi. And yeah, he there are also photos and videos of Dr. S Jaishankar, you know, visiting the BAPS temple in UAE and offering his prayers over there. So there are multiple photos and videos online. If you could, if you see, you'll find them. But yes, UAE has been reaching out to us, I would say. But at the international level, you cannot be sure. You know, there aren't exactly any acts of benevolence. If there is something a country is giving you, usually they do expect something in return as well. So, but overall, I would say with United Arab Emirates, the relations have been quite smooth, I would say. So yep. Hmm. Next up is, yes, something that I was talking about. IMD, that is the National Forecasting Agency for Weather. The Meteorological Department has predicted very heavy rainfall over Kerala, Karnataka, and Goa during the next 4 days. Okay, keep in mind the peninsular part of our country is the first land where there is footfall of monsoon. So Kerala, Karnataka, and Goa, they are expected to have heavy rainfalls over the next 4 days. Similar conditions accompanied by thunderstorms and lightning are also likely in parts of Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, and Gujarat. Okay, okay. So the southwest monsoon is moving further up north, starting from south. In the northeastern part and the sub-Himalayan West Bengal, heavy to very heavy rainfall will continue to prevail for the next 5 days. Okay, okay. So IMD has issued its fair share of warnings. Yep. Monsoon, I guess, has a lot of cultural significance as well. If you look at the parts of Western Ghats that receive rainfall, like they celebrate it. I would say uh, the footfall of monsoon is celebrated amongst farmers, amongst just the general public. To get some respite from the heat. Yep. So it has some philosophical backgrounds as well. If you see many of the poems and stories and the stories with romantic settings have some or the other version of monsoon. So monsoon has been it appeals to the imaginations of poets and writers and philosophers too. Okay. Hmm. What is next? Next is the Education Ministry entrusted the matter of alleged irregularities in NEET exams to CBI for comprehensive investigation. Yes, the Central Bureau of Investigation, the investigative agency directly under the control of the Union government, has been given the responsibility of probing this matter that has, I would say, disappointed a lot of people and more so, devastated the efforts, I would say. So students, they usually take up 1 or 2 year of their studies to prepare for this exam, and it has been a major setback to their morale, I would say. So it's rightly done that CBI has been roped in, but I would say uh, such things are not usually possible without the connivance of people at the highest level as well. I mean, it's after all, it's a paper leak, so you don't have to look very far. These things are, since it's a government body, it would have written records of everything that went on, from printing of papers to taking them to one center to another. I guess CBI would get to the bottom of it pretty soon, because uh, it's as a government procedure, so it will have a record of each and everything. So they'll not have to dig too deep. I guess they've already made a few arrests in the state of Bihar as well, and it was, I guess it was yesterday. Yes, yesterday they were sent for medical checkup in a hospital. There are videos doing rounds on social media platforms. So yeah, CBI has already made some arrests in the state of Bihar, and it's very soon that we will see. It's very soon that we will see an actual report of what went down, how exactly somebody pulled off something of this sort. So keep in mind, very recently, the central government has also come up with an act. Okay, the act is Public Examination Prevention of Unfair Means Act 2024. So uh, I would say somewhere down the line, uh, somebody from the inside knew that since government is bringing out such a law, this was the last time that some or the other uh, manipulation could be done to allow someone else to get unfair advantage. But now that this law is in place, yep. So yeah, these are all just speculations from my side. But since CBI has taken over, it won't be long. It won't take too long. They'll get to the bottom of it, and we will know the real story behind what actually happened with the NEET question paper. Next is the Patiala House Court in New Delhi has granted time to NIA to file a reply against the bail application filed by the newly elected MP Rashid Engineer from the Baramulla Lok Sabha seat to take oath. An MP from Baramulla is in custody in an NIA case. This is very disgraceful, I would say, for a democracy like Bharat. NIA, the National Investigation Agency, is the topmost investigation agency. They don't probe cases of theft, and they don't probe cases of civil nature. Okay, they probe cases that have national significance, that have a bearing on national security and sovereignty. So if NIA, um, you know if NIA has filed a case against a person who is electing Lok Sabha elections and already also getting elected, and that person is asking for a bail application just to take an oath, I would say, where have we reached as a society? Because you cannot have somebody you know being probed by NIA. I mean, civil offenses, I would say I would make a leeway for politicians. If you have committed a civil offense, that is still debatable. But if NIA is probing you, and you are occupying a democratic seat at the union level, this is just too much. So yes, a house court in Delhi has granted time to NIA to file a reply as to why should we not give bail to Rashid Engineer. He has won the Lok Sabha seat from Baramulla in JNK. Phew. Okay, Home Minister. Home Minister is looking very busy. Home Minister chairs high-level meeting to review preparedness of flood management. It's nice to see that the government machinery has swung into action. You know, like they are anticipating that the rainfall this season is going to be too much, and they are prepared for it. So the Home Minister, uh, he chaired a high level meeting to review preparedness of flood management. A lot of areas in our country get flooded because not many towns and places have an adequate drainage system. This is also one of the things, like if you are building smart cities, if you wish to see yourself developed in the next 20, 20, 30 years, you'll need cities with a good drainage infrastructure, because um, once it starts raining and you do not have a sufficient drainage, all your roads will be clogged within a few minutes of rainfall. So yep. So this this meeting was more in relation to flood management in New Delhi, but they have also considered uh, the overall significance of this matter of flood management in relation to the entire territory of Bharat. Okay, concerned departments to conduct a detailed study of recent floods in Sikkim and Manipur. Okay, so so here is the plan of the Home Ministry. The Home Ministry has put forward this ambitious plan of constructing 50 large ponds in the northeast, so that the water of Brahmaputra river could be diverted and stored in those ponds. We frequently see these areas, states of the northeast, be it Arunachal Pradesh, Sikkim, uh, those parts of Darjeeling in West Bengal that are on the northern side of the state. So yes, these areas are more prone to floods, landslides, and whatnot. It's due to their geographical terrain, the type of land that they have, and they receive incessant rainfalls, and these rainfalls they lead to landslides. So yeah, this time they are in an anticipative mood. Okay, so let's see let's see what how do we cope up with monsoons this time around. Okay, yeah, speaking of monsoons, Arunachal Pradesh sudden surge of heavy rainfall creates havoc in Itanagar. Yes, in Arunachal Pradesh, a sudden surge of heavy rainfall created havoc in the capital. Blockades, landslides, flash floods have been reported from various locations. Arunachal Pradesh is as it's a very sensitive area, I would say, in relation to its existence on the border of China and Bharat. Okay, it is a very sensitive location. In the past, we have also seen that China does not recognize the name Arunachal Pradesh. It has its own name for the state that we like to call it as Arunachal Pradesh. It also claims the entire state area in the 1962 conflict. This was the arena for battle. And, it's a Himalayan state. It has a hilly terrain, the type of geography which is you know and very difficult for humans to survive. But it's largely a mountainous state with a lot of tourist potential. But since it is on the border with China, the tourism potential that Arunachal Pradesh has not been harnessed. It has not been harnessed fully, and yep. I would say generally the entirety of Northeast, the full potential of Northeast in terms of tourism has not been realized fully. Okay, so if you're planning your next trip, plan it to the Northeast. Let's see what else. Two Cobra Jawans killed in IED blast in Chhattisgarh's Sukma. Okay, Chhattisgarh is a state that is reeling under the influence of left wing extremism. When I say left wing extremism, I mean Maoists, people who live in forests and take actions to overthrow the elected governments. They are not in support of democracy. It would be interesting to think about this, take a thought experiment, and see that. Let's say hypothetically, for the sake of argument, if these left-wing extremists, if they succeed in overthrowing the government, who exactly would come to power, and what are the guarantees that the person who is succeeding a democracy, like a democratically elected an authority who is taking action, who is democratically elected, if the left wing extremists they are indeed successful in overthrowing them, then who will succeed them? What is the guarantee that the person succeeding them will rule fairly? So yeah, so in Chhattisgarh, two jawans of the Commando Battalion for Resolute Action Cobra were killed in an improvised explosive device blast Sukma district. I would say if they are capable enough to build IEDs, in a way they say that we don't want, foreign influence. We don't want people from the outside interfering with our ways of life. So how exactly did you build IED? Okay, it's not like obviously they would have received some aid from outside, some help. I would say internet too might also be involved over here, and yeah. So improvised explosive devices are being manufactured by such people, the left wing extremists, and yep. So there are much. There isn't exactly written about here, okay, who exactly device. Okay, so I would correct myself over here. There are no details about like who planted that IED. It's written over here. Details are awaited. According to the statement issued by Bastar Police, the personnel of 201 Cobra Battalion were moving on a motorcycle and a truck when the blast took place. Details are awaited. We don't exactly know. So, but this is just one instance. We have seen multiple instances of left wing extremists in these areas where they have, attacked paramilitary convoys and managed to impart casualties on the paramilitary side. So, yeah. Next up is Ukraine launches drone attacks on Russia after Kharkiv attack. It's yeah. If you see, if you have been following international politics for long, you will see that uh, you know world news on a global level does not have too much to offer on a daily basis. They simply just keep on adding layers to the stories that they have come up with in the past. So these stories, conflict between Russia and Ukraine, Israel Hamas conflict, has been going on since past 8 to 9 months. There has been no major development all across the world. So this is the news. So yes, right now Ukraine has also started drone attacks, and who is supplying them these drones? That would be interesting to see. Let me just. This comes as a surprise. Argentina's Millie irritates Spain again with plans for a visit. Okay, so get this: the Argentinian leader, the new Argentinian leader, he has this penchant for theatrical displays and gestures in the public. So imagine this: if a democratically elected leader of a country, be it president or be it prime minister, if you are going to a foreign country, it is customary for you to check on your counterpart. Meaning, let's say if prime minister of Bharat is going to Russia, so it behooves him to meet the leader of Russia, because it's a state visit. So when you go to a foreign country you know as a leader of your country, uh, it is upon you to check upon your counterpart, at least have a courtesy meeting. But the relations between Argentina and Spain have not been exactly too good uh, in the recent past. So yeah, so Argentinian President Javier Milei, I hope I'm saying that correctly. Okay, he is about to visit Spain, but he'll not meet the Spanish leader, the Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez. Okay, So the prime minister, sorry, is it a president? Yes, the president of Argentina is going to visit is going to visit Spain, but while on his visit to Spain, he will not meet the president of Spain. This is a first, I would say, and this indicates how the you know how the relations between Spain and Argentina are not very good actually. Yeah. So, yep, okay. This highlights a deviation from expected diplomatic norms and suggests lack of priority on formal state relations. Yeah, so all of this started when all of this started when during his first visit to Spain last month, when the Argentinian president earlier last month when he traveled to Spain, he declined to have any meetings with top officials. Okay, during a speech at a far right rally in Madrid during the trip, Millet called Sanchez his wife, so the wife of the Prime Minister of Spain. So this Argentinian president, he made some comments about wife of Spain's Prime Minister and called her corrupt and described socialism as cursed and carcinogenic. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah. So there are some investigations undergoing. Uh, she and her husband have denied any wrongdoing. So these politicians, they'll never accept. So if there is a case going on, if there is something that is sub judice, they will never admit to it. Or if they are innocent, that's all right. But if they are involved in some or the other way, obviously they are now never going to admit. So yeah. So one very interesting development in this episode was right after Argentina did this. Okay, Spain, they recalled their ambassador from Argentina. Okay, we do not want to keep any diplomatic relations with you. However, Argentina has not called its ambassador back. So that's it. So asked in an interview earlier this week about his coming trip to Madrid, Millet called Sanchez a coward and compared him to Venezuela's authoritarian president Nicolas Maduro. Okay, okay. So there is too much work to be done in South America. Let's see how they manage to restore ties. Now, let's go back to the time of COVID. Okay, during the COVID time, there was this standoff between Chinese and the armed forces of Bharat at Galwan and many other places at the Indo-China border, and the standoff still continues. Both the countries have refused to vacate their positions that they are currently in, and currently there are no direct flights between Bharat and China because we have stressed that first peace and tranquility at the border is more important than having direct flights, and there have been multiple attempts from the Chinese side to open the airspace of Bharat for Chinese airlines, and we have also, I would say, banned some of the apps that China has, TikTok to begin with. So yeah, I really don't. I really don't see how these things are affecting, or are compelling China to, adhere to certain norms that we think are necessary for peace and tranquility at the border. What is going to hurt China more is, you know, democracy. So if you strengthen your democracy further, it would just create impressions in the mind of young Chinese that how useful is democracy. So we don't really have to do anything about China. We just simply need to further nourish and nurture our democracy, And I would say democracy of Bharat is still in its infancy. We have been like a democracy for what, like 7 decades, 8 decades. So we have a considerable way forward, and the more the Chinese people, the Chinese commoner sees that how a nation can progress with democracy, and that is what is going to hurt China the most. Not the military, not these tariffs, not these half-hearted measures. So if we focus more on deepening the democracy and polishing our democracy further, that is what is going to hurt China the most. Let's see what else. Yes, asked about the lack of direct flights, Foreign Ministry spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal said, "Peace and tranquility on the border is important for ties with China to become normal." He did not elaborate. So, right now we have halted direct flights with China. So, it's only after negotiating properly about the peace at the border areas that the air traffic will resume. That is the signal from our side. Okay, we spoke about this in one of our previous live streams that uh, EU and China. Okay, now China has this industrial overcapacity. Okay, meaning it has you know I would say an unprecedented amount of resources at its disposal, uh, owing to its I would say owing to its communistic nature, because in China there aren't it's a communistic society. Okay, so they are obviously going to pool their resources, and they're going to give priority to the community ownership rather than private ownership. So you know owing to that principle, they have this mammoth industrial capacity because they're pooling their uh, uh, entire arsenal of resources that they have. And what this is doing is, and after pooling all those resources, on top of that, the Communist Party of China, that is the ruling party over there, they are providing export subsidies and many other aid from the government. So what this is doing is that is flooding European markets with cheap Chinese imports, and this is harming their own native industries. So the European Union had obviously missed its opportunity to rein in cheap Chinese imports in relation to solar panels. But now it has taken a hardlining position on electronic vehicles. So earlier in one of our previous live streams, we had discussed this that European Union has imposed a 38.1% of tariff on electronic vehicles to be imported from China. Now there is this headline and that says that EU and China set for talks on planned electric vehicle tariffs. Okay, so at least they have come up to the stage of negotiations, because both the parties know that such high tariffs are not sustainable. And so in a way, I would say Europe still needs China, but the one of the I would say one of the bottlenecks between smooth sailing of European Union and Chinese relationship is China's support for Russia. Okay, so indirectly, any policy stand that the West takes with China has some or the other bearing on Russia as well. Because keep in mind, China is a mammoth economy, and it is aiding Russia into staying afloat despite of all those sanctions from the West. So this is somewhat like a check measure on China as well. Uh, the European Union and yep. So China and European Union have agreed to start talks on the planned imposition of tariffs on Chinese-made electric vehicles being imported into the European market. Senior officials of both sides said on Thursday. Okay, these are some statements. Okay, these are some statements by. Let me just, yes, the economy minister of Germany. Okay, and these are some statements by him. He has said, this is new and surprising in that it has not been possible to enter into a concrete negotiation timetable in the last few weeks. He said it was a first step and many more will be necessary. We are far from the end, but at least it is a first step that was not possible before. Okay. Because, yeah, up to a certain extent, I think European Union also needs China. We have also seen how Germany has some trade relations with Russia as well. Majority of the natural gas that Germany uses is coming from Russia, but on the international platform, Germany is, in a way, I would say, a leader in the European Union, and the European Union's policy towards Russia since 2014 has been a hardline one. So the European Union nations, European Union and the West, they are currently, walking this tightrope of balancing self-interest and interests of the West as a whole. So, I guess they are negotiating with China as well. Habeck said there is time for a dialogue between EU and China on tariff issues before the duties come into full effect in November, and that he believes in open markets, but that markets require a level playing field. Okay, okay. Another point of tension between Beijing and Berlin is China's support for Russia in its war in Ukraine. Habeck noted Chinese trade with Russia increased more than 40% last year. Okay, so like I said, okay, China is, I would say, it's caught in the crossfire. I would say this. I don't see a way how this will end better. Better for China. Um, I get it that Russia is its very close ally. Russia is a very close ally of China, but it is risking too much by supporting Russia on the international level. So we'll see. We'll find out, because any move that the West takes, okay, against Russia, so China comes to the aid of Russia, and now the West has realized that. So the West is now also keeping in mind Chinese maneuvers. This was very interesting. Slovakia is a country in the eastern part of the European continent, and so get this, okay. Slovakia uses MiG jets that are manufactured by Russia. Okay, so Russia manufactures these jets, and they were supplied to Slovakia. Okay, now the ex prime minister of Slovakia, he sold all these MiG 24 jets to Ukraine. So imagine producing your own jets, supplying it to another country. That country supplies it to Ukraine, so they can use that equipment in war against you. So it's like a comedy of errors. So now that there is a new government in Slovakia, so the new prime minister Roberto Fico. Okay, Roberto Fico has asked police to investigate the former cabinet and defense minister for donating fighter jets and air defense system to Ukraine to help it defend against Russia's invasion. It's yeah. So we could also see that the new government is somewhat has some affinity towards Russia as well. And if you see, okay, there is a reason why during the Second World War the countries of the Eastern Europe, they were closer, more closer, politically towards Soviet Union. Yeah, so that is why there was this East and West division, the Iron Curtain and whatnot. So yes, the eastern part of Europe has somewhat political and even, I would say, cultural proximity towards Russia. So now there is a new government at center in Slovakia, and they are Moscow friendly, I would say. Not exactly Moscow friendly. We don't exactly know, but since the prime minister is taking such steps, so my guess is that he is, Moscow friendly. But we could never be too sure with a lot of misinformation and everything going on. Yep. So we'll see how what is the outcome of such an investigation, if at all it fructifies. Mhm. Next up is um, Tata Steel workers in Britain to begin indefinite strike next month. Okay, so so around 1,500 Tata Steel workers in Britain will begin an indefinite strike from July 8 over the company's plans to close two blast furnaces and cut up 2,800 jobs, the trade union unit said on Friday. So get this, Tata Steel has been operating, its steel business in Britain, and now they have some of the units that have run out of, like they are constantly making losses. So the company has decided that we'll shut down these units. So how many jobs? Yes, Tata Steel employs more than 8,000 people in UK. The company said in January that 2,500 jobs of the total being cut were likely to go over the next 18 months. Yes, so yeah, so they are going to shut down some of its units. They are going to they're going to let go some of the employees, and this has not, uh, you know, gone down well with the trade unions. So they have planned to go on a indefinite strike to oppose closure of such units. Okay, the closures were announced in January as part of company's plan to turn around its loss-making UK business by switching to lower carbon electric arc furnaces. A proposal backed by 500 million pounds of the government money. So, as the government of UK is also backing this idea of switching down these plants and turning them to carbon electric arc furnaces. Yep. Okay, so if you see over here, a spokesperson for Tata Steel said that the company was disappointed by the trade union's decision, the decision that they are going to go on strike, adding that the steel making assets were operationally unstable and causing losses of 1 million pounds a day. Okay, okay. So they're thinking about cutting somewhere close to 2,500 jobs. This announcement has not gone down well with trade unions, and yeah, so the one very interesting observation that you can make over here is obviously it is a loss making enterprise. It's written over here that it is causing somewhere around 1 million pounds a day, a loss of 1 million pounds a day. So why somebody in their right mind would keep it open? So yeah, but the trade unions, they have opposed it. So this is this is the mentality, I would say, of the people leaning towards left, people who subscribe to this idea of trade unions. Obviously, if there is a loss making enterprise, obviously they are going to shut down before going bankrupt. But they are opposing that you don't shut down, you keep running this low loss making enterprise, or accommodate these jobs somewhere else. So we'll see what is the outcome of this, and yep, we'll know. All right, that's about it for today. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for joining.